Hey everybody, as you can see it is not late at night, however I am still Norman. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to water test one of my Mr. D watches. He sent me this watch specifically so I can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do various dunk tests, and if it passes those, I'm going to ramp it up to even more tests, and ultimately I would like to simulate swimming. So we'll see how far along it goes. Almost like a game show. We'll see how many rounds it takes before it gets voted off the island. So let's begin. Okay, so before I do any water resistance tests, I want to see how much moisture is in this watch. So I'm going to set it here, let it get warm in the sun, and we'll do the ice cube test. So once it's been warmed up, we'll get some ice out. Okay, it should be good now. Let's grab a bit of ice. And we'll give it a moment. Not too bad. There's a little clouding there, but I don't really see any moisture that's collected. So that's good. Now we can do some water tests. Okay, so now we're going to do the first dunk test. We're going to submerge it in here for just a moment. And we'll put it back into the sun. We'll give it a few and see if there is any condensation at all. If not, we'll try the ice again and see how it looks. And then we'll do another dunk test. Okay, so far so good. Let's try a bit more ice and see if there's more humidity inside here than there was last time. Now, Mr. D actually sent me an extra movement for this watch just in case it fails these tests. And perhaps the movement in this suffers water damage, but we'll see. All right, we'll give that a moment, see if there's more moisture than before, and then we'll do a more intense dunk test. All right, let's see. Hey, that looks pretty good. Just a slight little bit of haze there, not much at all. Certainly no more than what we had before. All right, dunk test number 2. All right, so in this dunk test, we're going to be holding it underwater for a bit. I didn't see any bubbles, which is good. We'll repeat our heat and cold test to bring out any moisture that's in there. All right, we'll give this a moment to warm up. Okay, so I've just done one more ice test and it looks pretty good. So this is after the little bit more intense dunk. So now what I'm going to do is I will do a couple off-camera dunks for extended amounts of time, and if it's still looking good, I will move on to the next level. Alright, so I've done a couple quick dunk tests. I also did a dunk test for 2 minutes, and afterward I put it in the window and did the ice to see what kind of moisture would show up there, because it seemed to be okay after I did that dunk. And so my next step was to totally break the rules and wear it in the shower and see how it does. But I noticed something. It stopped working. So even though it appears to be okay, it is not. Apparently moisture did get inside it, and it just wasn't coming up to the crystal when I was doing the contrasting heat tests, but something definitely got in there and stopped this movement. Now, I will see if it recovers. I'll let it dry out, but sadly, it failed. I can't do my shower test, and after that I was going to actually fill the tub and swish it around in there to simulate swimming, but yeah, sad. Okay, so this watch has been hit or miss ever since I did the dunk tests on it. Earlier it was running, but now it has stopped again. As you can see, there's no signs of moisture on the inside of the crystal or anything. So we're going to open up the case back and see what it looks like in there. I have my trusty tackle box. Thanks so much to Nick for suggesting this, so I can keep all of my tools in here instead of sitting around on the shelf. So we'll get out a case knife and get this watch open. And these are just the cheap knives that came with my case press, but they'll work for now, until I get a Bergeron one. Alright, so we'll slip this strap off. And locate the tab where we can open it. And that is why it failed the test. There are 0 gaskets here. But there's no discernible moisture in there either. So I did a 3-minute dunk test, and that's pretty crazy how dry that is in there. So while it's true that this watch did quit running, it doesn't look like it leaked a whole lot. Oh, there, it's going again. Now this watch didn't have a water resistance rating at all. These tests were just kind of out of curiosity to see what would happen. And I'm wondering if it didn't stop for another reason. Maybe like the battery was loose or something like that. Interesting. Well, maybe I will subject this to one last water resistance test. That would be the swimming simulation, filling up a bathtub and swishing it around. But I will do that probably in a follow-up video. I've already done a video on how to use this, so I won't belabor this, but we're going to pick the right dies and put this case back on. So that one fits pretty well there. This will be a good practice for an up-and-coming video where I'm going to change the battery on one of my son's watches, and I'll have to use this case press to close it, and that'll be the first time I use it on a watch that isn't my own, so I'm kind of nervous about that. Alright, so this die looks like it'll work for the crystal side, because it's just outside of the crystal there. It's pressing on the case itself. So we use that for the underside. Let's use the larger one on the case back. And let me see what direction this has to go. There's the notch for the crown stem. So we'll make sure that that is in place here. Let's see, right there. We'll set this on here. Make sure the watch is centered. Oh, I think it already went on. Yeah, that went on very easily. Probably because it's been opened a couple times. Alright, so I'm going to do a future swim test with this watch, and we'll see if it shows signs of moisture after that one. Because again, I'm surprised at how good it looks on the inside after 3 minutes submerged in a glass full of water. Alright, thanks for watching.